me forward you a copy of the agenda you have available?
I have one available.
Okay.
You're live on Facebook, and Mr. President, you are.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, Lynette.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Mary, and everybody else, hello.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. We're going to call to order the 191st session of the 10th Council at 6 p.m. on September 29, 2020. Invocation by John Bell. Mr. Bell, why don't you do the invocation?
Yes. Dear Lord, please bless these proceedings and help us make great decisions for the city of Pontiac and its residents. In our Lord's name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Carter,
Present.
Miller,
Right.
Nicola,
Here.
Shramsky,
Present.
Taylor Burks,
Present.
Waterman,
Here.
Williams.
Present.
President.
All right. Does anybody need to be excused, Mr. Clerk?
No.
Okay. All right, well, that's good. Before we approve, amend the agenda or approve the agenda, just want to note that tonight is the presidential debate, and so we can keep the meeting as concise as possible. That would be helpful. Is there any amendments to, the agenda? No. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as is?
Move. Hello. Support.
Okay, I'll take the move from Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burks, support from Councilwoman Petula. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Miller, Miller,
Yes. Yes.
Nicola,
Yes.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman, Williams.
Yes. Yeah.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays.
Okay.
Mr. President, there's some interference. It's not me. My TV is on.
Okay. If you're not speaking, can you mute your microphone? Okay. Hopefully that dealt with it. Okay, agenda has been approved. And then, we need to go to approval of minutes from September 22nd, 2020.
Move.
Support.
Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. President, I'm still
Yeah.
hearing the interference.
Okay, let's finish the roll call first.
Petola,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays.
Okay, the next thing is subcommittee reports, Department of Public Works, Councilwoman Dorchella Burke.
Mr. President, everyone should have a copy, copies made for everyone, so I won't read it.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3, Finance Subcommittee, September 15th, Councilwoman Waterman.
I will go with the minutes as read in the package, sir.
Okay, thank you. Which brings us to item number 4, Office of the City Clerk, Election 2020 presentation. Garland Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I wanted to just inform the public of a few things as regards to the election. So on September 24th, by law, we were legally able to issue absentee ballots and to begin mail out absentee ballots. Absentee ballots are available in the city clerk's office Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30. So since we began to mail out that voters, you can track your ballot on the Secretary of State's website. It's michigan.gov/vote, and it will link you to the website that's there. If we have mailed you your ballot, we're asking that you at least give the post office 10 days before you come into the clerk's office and ask us to issue you an in-person ballot. As of today, we have mailed out close to 4,000 ballots, but we have basically historic numbers for the city of Pontiac. We have over 11,800 requests for absentee ballots. And just to put that in a perspective, 4 years ago, we had between 4,500 and 4,700 people vote absentee. So we're heading to basically triple our numbers for absentee. There are 6 things that we want you to do after you receive your absentee ballot. Is to please read the instructions. Know that your ballot is two-sided. If you make a mistake, contact the clerk's office for information on how to spoil your absentee ballot and can issue you another one. We want you to remember to sign, date, and seal your envelope. A voter's signature on the ballot is one of the main reasons why ballots are rejected. So please remember to sign your ballot. And in addition to that, your signature needs to match your signature on your driver's license or state identification card. That's how we're verifying signatures on the ballot. We're all a part of the state of Michigan's site, so it pulls up how you signed your name on your driver's license. I know now people use cards for a lot of things, so a lot of times people just scribble their signatures. If your signature doesn't match, we would have to, in essence, reject your ballot. We will contact you, but that's one of the main reasons. So please sign, look at your driver's license or state ID, sign your name the same way you did on your driver's license. And then we're asking you to return your ballot to the clerk's office. We do have the drop box that's located inside of City Hall by the elevator on the first floor. One other important thing to note is how to vote with the partisan section of your ballot. You have basically 2 options. You can vote straight ticket. What that means is you vote for the party of your choice. And that, if you circle in that box, Democrat, Republican, or any of the other parties, Green parties, it will capture all the candidates running under that party for all the races in the partisan section of your ballot. You need to do nothing else but go into the nonpartisan section of your ballot. If you want to vote for a number of different parties, like President, you may want to select a particular party. Then for Senate, you want to select a different party. And you need to vote for each individual race. So that's really important to remember. That's the picture of the inside City Hall drop box. Next week we'll be getting the 7 drive-up drop boxes, and there will be one in each one of the voting districts, also council districts in the city, and that's what the drop box looks like. And those are the locations. So the District 1 drop box will be in the Common Center. The District 2 will be by the fire station on West Huron. District 3 will be at Woodland Elementary. District 4, Kennedy Junior High. District 5, Harrington Elementary. District 6 will be at the Ruth Pearson Center, and District 7 will be located outside of City Hall. All of the drop boxes will be under 24-hour surveillance. Beginning next week, we will have extended hours in the clerk's office. So beginning on Monday, October 5th, we will be open until 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Friday, we'll close at our regular time at 4:30. We'll have weekend hours the last 2 weekends before the election. Saturday, October 24th, will be open from 9 to 1. Sunday, October 25th, from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Friday before the election, will actually close at 8. And Saturday and Sunday, October 31st and November 1st, will be open from 9 to 4 p.m. So this is an additional 81 and a half hours between our extended hours and weekend hours. We're making ourselves available to the public, and you will be able to have the opportunity to vote in person if you so choose, or request the absentee ballot or anything else. Again, I mentioned a number of our initiatives before. Again, we will have a service team that is available to seniors and the elderly who may not be able to make to a drop box. The city clerk has the power to advertise, and I will be doing that, and we can actually hand deliver you your ballot. So we will also be doing a lot of outreach in the community, trying to increase our participation in our low voting precincts. The 4 precincts in the city are part of the top 100 list. So, and then we also want to increase voter participation in communities of color, the Hispanic community, and so forth. And that's a part of our Your One Vote Matters initiative. So we're definitely in need of more election day workers. Our goal is to have a pool of 250 workers. So here are a number of the positions available. We're able to pay substantially more than what we normally pay as a result of the county offering hazard pay, and then in addition to the grant that we received. So we're paying on average at least $150 more per position than we were able to do in the past. So like I did before, we only paid precinct inspectors $180. This time we'll be able to make $330. And everybody, for the most part, has to go through a training class. Some positions require multiple training classes, but we do pay $25 for you to attend the training class as well. Of course, we have our website, Facebook page, Twitter account, Instagram, and YouTube as well too. Those were the things that I did want to inform the community about. So absentee ballots are now available in the courts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, and I have brought two guest speakers today. The project that we're going to update the citizens on today is the Village of Bloomfield. Some may have known it from the long history of Pontiac as the Bloomfield Park, but that was changed under the current developers, which is Redico Incorporated. And as some of you may know the long history, although it may be forgotten in all the time that has elapsed, the Village of Bloomfield is that, I think, 78-acre property that is on Telegraph, just north of Square Lake Road. And for many years, as the original developer had fallen into bankruptcy, this property left standing half built, and it looked like a monolithic vacant city. So we were so happy that Redico was able to purchase this out of bankruptcy to redesign the strategic plan for development of this particular property. And as now you see, it has flourished. And there are such properties there as Menards, which is well known. It's property line as Olive School, very popular, as well as 74 West Bloomfield, and some other properties. But I would like to bring to your attention the latest developments and the plans for completion of that economic development plan, which is bringing about $300 million of economic development in the city of Pontiac. And not only that, that was one of the first development agreements that, as I was mayor, I was able to negotiate. And that development agreement does bring in the necessity to report jobs and hiring of Pontiac residents, as well as certain clawbacks for Pontiac businesses, and those were four reports that Redico was to submit to make sure that those benchmarks were met. I'm happy to say that they have not only met those benchmarks, but they have exceeded them, and that's why I'm bringing back now the representative of Redico, who is Tim McCafferty. He's their current project manager, as well as vice president of construction. In addition, as you well know, that the property, because it fell under bankruptcy, as well as it was highly contentious about how that property would come and be annexed by Pontiac, many people have to be reminded that of the 78 acres, most of that is right within Pontiac. There's only about 4.5 acres within Brookfield Township. So that is a prime economic development program we have right here. And because of the court ruling that this property is now governed by the three people on the JEC, the Joint Development Council, of which I'm a member as the mayor of the city, and of which the township supervisor of Bloomfield Township is also a member. And the third member, who is the chair, is the real estate expert and attorney that we all know from Pontiac, and his name is Dennis Cowan. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to them so they can bring you up to date to introduce you. I think we have some interesting footage of all the developments you can see from the street, as well as the developments that are ongoing that will be opening. We've been keeping you busy going with the cutting red ribbons as you open one facility after another. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim McCafferty, who's compiled a very interesting PowerPoint for us to see. Tim, and then he'll turn it over to Attorney Dennis Cowan. Thank you for coming this evening.
No problem, thank you very much. Vern, I think you might be the one that's driving here. Why don't we start with this little video presentation?
Oh, thank you.
Is everybody seeing it? I'm not seeing it on mine.
Not yet. How do you?
Sounds like it's playing, but it's not coming up on the.
It's not showing on the screen. Where did you do a dry run with your team maybe can help you?
I'm trying to bring you up and make sure.
I did.
Oh,
Can you
There
see
we
it?
go. I didn't see it. So that's what we're seeing here, Tim, as this film footage shows.
sure. We're starting out on Telegraph Road and then showing the front, very front of the development. Now it's taking us back to the hotel development just behind Henry Ford, showing the front and the back of the building. You can see the parking deck at Henry Ford behind. You can see Planet Fitness there well under development. Getting a few angles on it. There's Henry Ford with the parking deck behind it. This is the multi-tenanted retail center in front of Aldi. And that's a little photo of the empty piece of land and Comcast under development. And then this is all Edward Rose and Sons. So it started at the very back of the site where they're just starting the road development. And it's moving through all the buildings that they already have up. And I think 2 of them are now occupied, so things are going very well there. You can see that the whole site's really coming together.
Really great.
Yeah, so anyhow, looking really good there, and really all that's left to do on the site, you saw the empty piece of land that's right up against Telegraph Road, just on the other side of Comcast. I believe it is October the 15th is their final site plan approval with Pontiac Township. It is going to be the Michigan Credit Union. So we're very excited to have a credit union there. It gives a little bit of kind of building and use diversity to the site. So we're very excited about that. We think that they'll fit very well there. Something that the community would be interested in, really want to work with. These are just some old photos that we put in on the site. If people want to go through this PowerPoint just to see what it was before and then the transformation to the stuff that you saw being built in the video. The only other piece that is currently vacant, but very soon going to be developed, you'll see the back of the site right where the arrow is the senior living. It's not going to look exactly like that. Our plans are in for permit right now. We hope to have permit in the next month or so. We've done a little bit of site clearing, but just to clean up the site. But we're getting ready to build. I think it's 140 units of senior living. It's going to be a beautiful building. So a real good fit with the rest of the community, the rest of our site. Edward Rose and Sons is still under construction, as you can see in that video, but they're making great progress. They had initially talked about doing all of their building in phases. Instead, they're building all of their buildings. They're doing it all right now, and they should be through with all of their buildings by probably May or so of next year. I believe 2 of the buildings are open already, and they're fully leased. The buildings that are under construction on our site, 2 of those buildings you saw in the video was the hotel and Planet Fitness. Each was slightly affected by COVID. And so they are moving a little bit more slowly, as you're probably aware, through executive order. Fitness centers are now able to open again. I believe it's October 8th or 9th. So they're all preparing for their opening. Planet Fitness in this particular location is going to complete their construction soon, but they're not going to open right away because they want to see how this opening goes to make sure that there's not any more slowdown in the state. So look for them to open probably after the first of the year. The hotel is in a very similar situation. While hotels, I believe, are allowed to open, they're at very low occupancies right now. And so they're really focusing on getting their operations in line with expectations and incomes and all that kind of stuff at their other locations. But they are still working on this building. They're very much in the desire of finishing this. They think it's a great location. They're out there working every day. So we know that they're going to finish it. It's just the opening is probably going to be delayed similar to Planet Fitness. They're kind of hedging their bets on when things are going to be full open again. And so they're probably pushing things into the first quarter of next year their business there, doing well. And of course, I'm sure a lot of people in the community have visited Menards and Aldi. I know that they're both big hits in the community. Everybody's been very positive about their opening and have been spending a lot of time there, and we're really happy about that. They're very happy about that as well, of course. Comcast is coming very soon. Their service center that's going to be out front. We're just wrapping up the core and shell of the building so that Comcast can take over and start doing their interior fit out. We're really excited about that store. I don't know if you've been in a Comcast building lately. They're like, they're almost like a Starbucks kind of setup. They're like a cafe thing, and they're really nice, and they're very good at servicing their customers. These are really friendly places to go to, and it's going to be another good fit for the project and for the community. So we're really happy with the way things are going there. Vern, if you could probably scroll down to that last sheet, because I want to touch on, I just want to be able to show some of the numbers that the mayor was talking about. We have a development agreement with Pontiac, and there was a very specific deliverable for our project, and that was for spending on Pontiac businesses for the development of our project. And we had made a promise in writing in that development agreement, $2 million. And we've exceeded that, and this is just through Redico's efforts. What we really haven't captured in this, and we have asked, we just haven't gotten feedback from all the other folks that have purchased land from us and are developing their own. We don't have all of their numbers yet, but even with our numbers, as you can see here, we've hit we're almost at the $3 million mark. And like I said, there's still more things under construction. So we don't have any of the American House numbers in here that we are developing. And there's none of the Comcast numbers in there. So there's probably a few more numbers to add to this yet. So the picture is only getting brighter. The numbers are getting stronger. We feel like we've done a nice job out here, and we're very excited for the project and happy to be a part of the community.
Okay, you guys are over time, but I will let Attorney go ahead and speak since he's the chair of the committee.
Thank you. Attorney Collins?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Council President. First of all, it's good to be before you again. I just want to simply say that in my 37 years of professional life in the real estate business and projects and deals, this stands as perhaps the greatest turnaround I have ever seen, and most people have ever seen in southeastern Michigan. If we look at where this project was not that long ago, it was a hulk of unfinished buildings that resembled something out of a movie set, and not a movie probably any of us would want to go see. But the communities stuck with it. They worked through it. They selected an excellent developer who, from the perspective of the JDC, has done everything they said they were going to do and more. Those of you who may not know, the JDC functions as the Planning and Zoning Review Board. We were the child, so to speak, of the Act 425 agreement that came out of all the litigation many years ago that most have forgotten about. But this is how the project site is governed, and I have enjoyed working with your mayor and with the township supervisor. I do want to mention that the two staffs, your staff led by Vern Gustafson and Patty Volker leading the township staff, have been nothing short of outstanding. I would recommend them to work anywhere, but I know you're going to keep them. And I say that because staff is always very important in doing all the analysis for us, providing us the written reports, which we did read, providing us with oversight of the plans. And we really, I think both communities are indebted to the two staffs. But more so, I want to congratulate the city and and the township for sticking with it. This would have been easy to just throw your hands up and maybe hope that in 20 years something was going to happen, but everybody stuck with it. We did have many meetings several years ago, 2016, when the overall plan was being developed. Maybe 2015, Tim? I'm trying to remember exactly.
Yeah, it goes back to even 14.
Yeah, so we go back several years. In the last 3 years, we've only had 5 meetings. 2 were in Pontiac, 2 in Bloomfield, and our last meeting, of course, was virtual, just to go over the individual site plans and some signage issues. But the work of the JDC is just about done, because they were set up to do this oversight, and I think we've successfully performed our job. But again, I want to congratulate both communities, and particularly the staffs for working so hard and sticking with it, and also letting the developer know, and the businesses that have come here. You have a broad range of national, local businesses, very prominent, who make very serious decisions about how they're going to invest their capital. And the fact that they wanted to come here is a testament to both communities, because you made it very clear that you wanted a first-class development. You were very serious about the way you approached it, but you also put out what the rules of the road were. And business likes to know what the rules are. When they know what the rules are, then they can function well and make their decision. This is a book case of turnaround, dedication by both communities and their staff and the developer to make something good happen that I think any communities would be proud to have. I've been very, very pleased to be a small part of it. And I thank you for letting me speak, Mr. Council President. And if we can answer any questions, we'll be glad to do so.
Okay, I'm gonna start with County Water, and then we'll get to the rest of the council. This is her district.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say that I am ecstatic about seeing this project going forward. I was at the forefront of this deal going in and sitting in and trying to negotiate the best deal for the city of Pontiac here. I think a lot of my residents are ecstatic. I mean, to see where we've come from to where we are, the members of the city council should be very proud of what's going on in our city. I'd just like to know one thing is, when are they going to be opening up for the condominium section that's being built? When is that process coming to fruition?
So if you're referring to the apartments from Edward Rose and Sons, one of the buildings is open and it's fully occupied. I believe that they're going to be opening the second building here very, very soon.
Okay. Sounds good. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay. Any questions?
Hello, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Pro Tem.
Actually, I have 5 that I haven't been able to have answers since probably 2014. I need to have the documents for the revisit of the 425 agreements. It's a lot different than what it was when I owned property over there when they moved in. I'm also going to request all the public meetings that were held in Pontiac since 2014. Most of them been canceled. There hadn't been any deaths. I want to know the number of brownfields utilized in the Broomfield Village or Broomfield property, whatever the former name was, and what the value of. Lastly, since I was a former member of the last 14 people who lived over there as homeowners, and yes, I do remember the Harvard, Schumacher, Coventry, the Wells Fargo agreement, and then later on the critical agreement. I have all the documents for most of them from the Bloomfield. I attended most of the Bloomfield meetings, and I kept most of their documents. But I have very little to no information from the city of Pontiac. And as a council member, we should have been very aware of all the things and the surprises that went on that property.
Mr. President, do you want those to be answered now, or would you like to submit those in writing to the JDC, the chair, and you at the time, and then Mr. Conklin?
Mr. Conklin,
Mr. Crawford, just to kind of draw your look, I think the last meeting that occurred, I think, back in June, I don't think our mayor was even there. As I observed that one from the Bloomfield meeting. But, yes, Ms. Howard, you send that information, and I'll send out a formal letter of the same request for the same 5 items. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Councilman Miller? You gotta unmute yourself, Councilman Miller.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I also have 5 questions. I have written them down and I'm like, whoa, harder than I thought. Mine is not to be answered by anyone, whoever can give me the information. I noticed that when the mayor opened up for the development, first of all, I noticed that it's called the development project. Did anyone ever try to advise the neighbor to put Pontiac on the name? Because I think most people don't know that it's Pontiac. It's listed, I look at it, Bloomfield. My second question is, what's the percentage of the city of Pontiac received from this project? Is it still, I was told, 1%, 2% from the whole development? I know $3 million sounds a lot, but I look at Bloomfield, they stand to spend more than what we. My third question is, and this is all documentation. The $3 million sounds good, but okay. How much of Bloomfield is the profit from it? My fourth question is the city of Pontiac responsible for the police protection out there in Bloomfield Park? Our officers are responsible out there as well? We take care of that group. Do we go out there and service that area as well? And then the apartments out there, what is the criteria for the apartments out there? Is it low income, or what is it? Is something getting something back to the decision from how much, what is the status within the property? You have to have a certain income, what do you have to have? And my last one is, I would like to know how many is can, I don't know, keep it in, because I don't know, I haven't seen any Pontiac residents out there working like that a lot. And I just like to know, someone can just tell me, if you figure out how many maybe city of Pontiac residents tonight in their development. And those are my questions, and I would like to have them right, not just answer this right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else have a question?
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So, is, we have, this is in our street, voting, and Mr. McCaffrey mentioned that one of the buildings is filled, so we've had 2 residents, I think it's Bloomfield at 24 Bloomfield or something like that, come in to the Bloomfield Township clerk. The Bloomfield Township clerk is instructing them that they have to vote in Pontiac, but they have a Bloomfield Township driver's license. We have calls in the QPF to try to resolve the issue. I just need to know, because it's not showing up in our system, is the residential property, is it in Bloomfield Township or is it in Pontiac? We just want to make sure wherever the voter can, that they actually are able to vote in the upcoming election.
I can answer that. Chair Collins, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay, the properties actually are in Pontiac, but it's zoned to the 425 agreement, and, it's a long history of how these things were, decided by the circuit court. And that was done through the corrective office. So it was already decided that all the properties from Pontiac, they would have the Bloomfield Township mailing address. They do pay Pontiac property taxes, so there is some, division in terms of what properties are there. Now, I don't, you have to, consult with your first body, decide about election to see what district they actually go in. I don't have any information on that. All right.
So it is, the property actually is physically in Pontiac. Okay, yeah, we're trying to resolve the issue that they were told by Bloomfield Township that they have to vote in Pontiac, and we're just trying to figure out the ensure that the voters.
Well, they are in Pontiac jurisdiction. For one thing, I think the question Councilwoman Miller asked.
Okay, thank you.
Covers the police and fire services. Well, both the township and Pontiac, theoretically, the Pontiac security system handles the Pontiac part, the township handles the other part. But there's this collaborative, collateral agreement between the communities so that if there were an emergency, whichever one would be assigned first would be the one that would handle that emergency. That's the collateral agreement we worked out between the two communities to make sure the safety and security is provided for all of those properties. But the other question, Pro Tem and Councilman Miller, was about board of budget. We'll make sure you get answered, because we don't have time for all of them right now.
Yeah, Mr. McCaffrey, my only question is, you mentioned the $3 million on the phases, and I'm glad that Redico has kept their commitment to paying those additional fees that Pontiac was responsible for in the original 420 agreements for basically 100 years. But my question is, I thought, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that there was supposed to be $2 million committed for each phase of the Bloomfield Park project, not just $2 million total.
It was $2 million total, and there really is only one phase.
Okay, so I'll have to pull up, go to my office and kind of pull up those conversations that we had, because my understanding was it was $2 million for each phase, and you guys were gonna, if you didn't meet the criteria for the Pontiac-based businesses for each phase, there was gonna be up to $1 million in job training. So I needed those notes, but I was very, because we went back for time. One of the things was the phases, as far as making sure that local people were able to participate in that. So now the property is almost built out. So we went through the construction phase, and then we went through the implementation phase. Now we have the phase of the buildings actually being open. And so I thought those were different phases, but you guys are classifying it as one. So I will just request, I guess, the minutes from each of those meetings that you guys have had, along with a copy of that agreement that talked about it just being one phase. So
that would be development agreement. We can't forge you a copy of the development agreement that defines the terms. And also we get quarterly reports as well.
Madam Mayor, we have a history here of getting information, the version pre it being signed by you. So what I'm saying is I just want a copy of the executed agreement. So that would be to clear and assuage my mind, not the pre or the draft versions or anything. I have a draft. Okay.
We have an extra copy. Sure.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. And then we're gonna move on to our next item if nobody else has any questions. Thank you. Now, we're at recognition of elected officials, Mr. Clerk.
Well, Mr. President, I don't have, or any, in the draft.
Okay, which brings us to item number 6, which is a resolution to approve budget amendment to increase the budget revenues in the amount of $405,640.00 to the general fund in account 101000532 grant income. Mr. Clerk.
So yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is just the budget amendment for the grant. So, you already approved the agreement, so you just need to approve the budget.
Mr. President, I move.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Mr. Williams, are these the right accounts this is going into? So we don't have any problems going forward?
Yes.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Tramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller, Miller,
You gotta unmute.
Yes,
Angela.
yes, Jessica.
Okay. Angela?
Oh, I'm sorry, I said yes, I thought.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, 7 yeas, no nays, Mr. President.
Thank you. Which brings us to item number 7, which is a resolution to approve the local road improvement and cost participation agreement with the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, mill and resurface Pike Street from northbound Woodward to southbound Woodward.
So moved.
Four.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I have
Yes, go ahead, Bert.
I have no favor of being, the city of Pontiac being called a community. And Oakland County being called a board, even in this resolution, the name should be correct. I mean, this word community in capital, I have no idea what it means. I know what it's reference to, but it should say the city of Pontiac. It's reference to the people, taxpayers of the city of Pontiac who people receive, not just a community. Oakland County has 61 community, and I wouldn't want to be lumped in with 61 other individuals. Thank you.
Attorney Chubb?
Yeah, good evening, it's Anthony Chubb. So all this is if you look at the resolution, it very clearly does say the city of Pontiac. It's that these agreements are all produced by the state, and so to ensure that the agreements have the accurate wording throughout, they simply refer to the participating community at the beginning as the city, but note that it will be referenced subsequently as the community. It's really standard within that.
Council President,
Yes, Attorney Chubb.
just if, to the pro tem, if you look at the, cost participation agreement, it actually says the city of Pontiac here and after referred to as the community. So it specifically ties the city of Pontiac to the term community with the participation agreement. So aside from the resolution, the agreement makes a reference. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What was you saying?
I was asking for that clear, that give us clarity.
No, I mean, I'm still looking at the, interpretation. It's just, it's not clear for me. I recognize what was said. I just realized in contracts, things can be struck out or corrected or agreed upon, and I just have to look at it. I just didn't, like being called that word. Like I said, there are so many communities, and it's just open. I mean, had the tendency of money going out, leaving the city, Pontiac going to Oakland County communities. And I just want to be referenced that it's for the city of Pontiac. Oh, thank you.
Mr. President, we called for the vote. And it explained that it has been explained.
No, I'm saying, who called for the vote?
I am calling for the vote.
Okay. So go ahead and call for a roll call.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Tramsky.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 nay, Mr. President.
Okay, motion passes, which brings us to item number 8. A resolution to authorize the interim city clerk to publish a notice in a newspaper of general circulation at least 1 week before consideration of proposed budget amendment to increase the amount 101-532-000 in the amount of $100,000. The city has received $100,000 grant from the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan to support the development of internal grants management processing systems. Is there a motion?
Move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
D'Angelo,
Yes.
Gramsci,
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays, Mr. President.
Okay, motion passes to public in the newspaper. All right, number 9, under finance, resolution to ratify the mayoral appointment of Darren Carrington as finance director.
So moved. Support.
Council President,
Yes.
Oh,
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to refresh council's memory, so the resolution is requesting a salary of 131,040, which is whether you agree with it, okay. Just remember that when you guys prepare the budget, you put $50,000 in for the salary, and as it related to Aunt Moran, remember you had that $130,000 allocation that needs to be moved for your current interim director salary, because you guys said that when you got a candidate, if you were in agreement, then you would set the salary at that time, and that money would then be moved for that new individual salary. So just keeping in mind that there needs to be some movement in terms of that money that is allocated with Plant Moran for Mr. Williams' current salary, if I can recall that. Thank you.
I do remember that. Mr. Williams, how would we do that?
Council President, there's a couple of things I'd like to mention. First of all, in the initial budget that they're right on $50,000, realistically, we would not have to do the budget amendment until January, February of next year when we put through all the budget amendments. Let me finish talking, please. So, because there's sufficient money in that position right now that covers for January, February. Once we get to the point where we do have to do the budget amendment, we would have to do a transfer of the professional service line to the salary line to cover whatever that difference was, depending on what the salary says.
So, Mr. Williams, why can't we just do that next week?
Beg your pardon?
Why can't we just do that next week?
Do that next week. The budget amendment, they could if that's what you desire.
I just want everything at the same time.
we understand. Just make it clear cut so we can get these in order. That's what was talked about at the budget. So let's do it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, there were 2 issues. First, we just wanted to make sure that council was going to ratify the appointment. Okay. Once we do that was going to happen, then we're ready to have that money put there. But it serves no purpose if the council doesn't ratify the appointment. So.
I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with the logic behind it. This was all the way the conversation from the beginning, that once you brought a candidate to us for approval, but that for that to happen. So that part can happen now.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
just to be clear, it was exactly to what you just said, a reason why council did it that way. And so therefore, again, whatever council is agreeing to, if you're agreeing to that amount, I would just suggest that that is prepared in the resolution so that transfer can be done for next week and done all at one time. Then you don't have to worry about it. But it's the reason why council did that as opposed to waiting until January, because the whole point was because council wanted to make sure that they were just allocating the funds for the finance director. And again, whatever you agree upon in terms of that salary amount would be for that director, and not to have 2 I'm not gonna say competing positions, but to allow for two positions. The whole point was to just have for one individual in addition to the money for Plant Moran. Thank you.
And we'll have that ready for next week.
Mr. President?
Question as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and to Attorney Sharp's, position, I would agree with it, because we didn't want to have the same problem we had before, so there should be a finite timeline between when Mr. Irwin Williams is in that position and if the new candidate is chosen, that there's a very short period. We wouldn't want to have the same thing, kind of like we have with, Ringo and John Mallon in the same position.
And this is exactly why this will prevent that, because then that allocation exactly would be done simultaneously.
And misuse the people's money. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, good.
Yes, I have a question. First of all, I'm not gonna vote for the finance director for $131,000. So that's gonna be a problem for me. Mr. Zarko never made that much, and I'm not gonna bring anyone new to me, and I don't really who it is. So that's a problem for me. Just wanna put that on record.
May I explain, Council President, your current finance director, Fire Chief Pat Moran, is making $108,000 a year.
No, you hired him.
Well, that's what he's making, that's what the city's paying. So this is the figure that we came up with when we looked at the various salaries. It was also what the previous interim finance director was making, and this is what is expected for people of this caliber and this experience to come into a city of this size. So it is comparative and it is competitive, that salary range. That's a number that we did with some study and the help of other wage comparative companies. So also what you have to do to keep good people. One of the reasons our deputy mayor left was because she was going to be making almost twice as much as she made here in the city of Pontiac for a city the same size. So it's just a reality, and it's in this marketplace. I think the gentleman that I brought to you, Mr. Carrington, well qualified. I think everybody was very much impressed that he was a person that quality and caliber was coming to the city of Pontiac. And I think we're lucky that he is going to be joining us with constant gratification.
Council President. Just to, clarify, so if in the event, again, council is good with whatever the salary amount, I think you should just agree on what that amount is, and then therefore, whatever that amount is, they should have that prepared next week, and then you guys can ratify and pass the amendment at the same time next week. That's my suggestion to the council. Thank you.
That is also, I agree with you, Attorney Sharp. The only caveat that I would make, I think that the guy that's coming in is highly qualified. I did look at his resume. The only problem that I have is this council voted to get a forensic audit done almost 3 months ago at this time. And it hasn't happened. And so, as the charter says, the council has the right to a forensic audit. That hasn't happened. The mayor also has the right to appoint department heads and a finance director. And so I believe that this council is following our part of the charter with being able to confirm mayoral appointees. Yet still they are fighting our part of the charter, which says that we have the right for a forensic audit. And so I would want this person to come in with the ability to be able to trust the books. And so I'm asking that as part of the resolution, simultaneously, our forensic audit contract is approved. So that as this new finance director is coming in, the books are clean, and so he won't have any baggage to come in to the city with.
Council President, if I could respond to that.
Go ahead, Attorney General.
Council President, so again, everyone understands the council's ability to contract for services, including the forensic audit. Fiscal responsibility of it aside, all that we have to do is go through the procedure of approval of the contract administratively. I've explained why The Bonneville contract, although we negotiated for weeks, we were not able to come up with something that reasonably protected the city. Nothing prohibits the council seeking out another forensic auditor that will abide by reasonable terms that adequately protect the city. And you've already appropriated the money to do so. Nobody is trying to stop that. But the ability to approve the contract of Bonneville rests solely with me, including according to the charter, so that it can't be put into CFO's resolution.
What I said to you, Attorney Joe, is qualifications for firm limited for the forensic audit is impeccable. All of the municipalities that you know have not had a problem, except the city of Pontiac and you're just retort, you have a problem with their contract, and you are the major impediment to getting this forensic audit started through their firm, based on your judgment. And what I'm saying is, we are compliant and participating in a process that the city can run more efficiently by giving the mayor what she needs and the finance director. I would expect the same courtesy to be given to this council by opening up these books for forensic audit for our reputable firm. And that is my statement on that. But again, if you can have that prepared next week, we've already passed a resolution for the forensic audit, so the contract just needs to be signed. So technically, Attorney Chair, you are right. We don't need to add it to the information with the new finance director candidate. What we need you to do is have the executed contract for next Tuesday.
And I have provided Bonneville with several approved versions for execution. To date, I have not received one back from them. I have provided 6 approved versions, is my recollection.
Attorney Chair?
That would not be correct. The bottom line, the stickler was the term alleged. That was the sticking point, was alleged. And that was the holdup. And how we can get them on the call, or you guys can review the emails that were submitted in the agenda packet some time ago. So no, it was not 6 different versions. It was at the last correspondence, it was the term alleged, which nobody would agree upon. But the problem I have with this, again, is if in fact it's the rest with Attorney Tubb, so he makes the decision, so therefore it takes the council's ability to pick and choose who they'd like to represent them, because of the fact that he picks and chooses, whether or not that entity is acceptable or not. And that takes away council's ability to select a firm. So I disagree with your logic in saying that, our council has the right, when basically you're picking and choosing who they get to select, based on your term of reasonable, which is, that's not reasonable to have somebody to agree to allege negligence. Never. Thank you.
It's important on that issue. That's not accurate, because typically what happens, standard form contract is designed by the law department, and that's what we use when we go out for procurement to ensure that all of our potential vendors will agree to those standard terms and conditions. It's because the council went and sole sourced this procurement that we then had to negotiate the terms. I am, again, confident if we went out to bid, for example, we would get an array of vendors that would agree to our standard terms that this council could select from, or this council could reach out to another forensic auditing firm that would agree to our terms that I negotiated with Bonneville. I don't, again, as I said before, this has nothing to do with the qualifications of Bonneville, but likewise, the idea that of the thousands and thousands of firms that do forensic auditing, that this council can't find one that will engage in a fair contract with our city, I find unreasonable. I don't think that's true.
Although that sounded like attorney.
Mr. President, my hand is up, and my hand was up before anybody else's. Thank you. I would like to hear exactly what Attorney Chubb is saying.
You don't have to, I was about to call on you, Councilwoman Piva, but you decided that you were just gonna jump in, so you couldn't.
You don't have to mute me, because I will unmute myself. Facts are facts. There's too many people in this council that are acting as circus peanuts when the man is trying to talk. I would like to hear what Attorney Chubb has to say. He is the city attorney, not Ms. Sharp. Thank you.
So, again, hold on, Councilwoman Miller. Okay.
You don't speak for me.
I speak for myself. I
So everybody is muted right now, and now they can't unmute themselves because they don't know how to conduct themselves properly in business. We will not have any back and forth attacks. All of the comments need to be directed through the chair, and then I will recognize. Attorney Chubb was being able and allowed to speak. Before I could mute anybody, you jumped in, Councilwoman Piva, with allegations that I wasn't letting him speak. I'm the one who called on him in the first place. I will recognize everybody with their hand up in a reasonable way, but they're going to talk in a reasonable tone, and they will direct it toward me. There will be no back and forth between council people, city attorneys, or anybody else. If you have something to address to me, that's fine, and then I can call on whoever you want to talk. But it will be done with decorum, or it won't be done at all. But we're not going to continue to have this back and forth, and I will not continue to be yelled at by any council member or any person from administration or otherwise. So until we can follow along with those protocols, there will be limited speech until that happens. I'm going to unmute everybody. Again, Councilwoman Miller, Councilwoman Beasley, you have the floor, but address the area so we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, or Mr. President, however you want to be referred to. I was trying to hear what Attorney Chubb had to say, but there was too many comments coming out of the people that are here, and I could not hear what he was saying. So I am going to ask that he repeat, and I'm going to ask that he not be interfered with his repetition, because I heard a lot from Attorney Sharp, I heard a lot from Councilwoman Miller, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to hear Attorney Chubb, who is speaking, and I want to hear from the city attorney. Because at this time, Ms. Sharp is an attorney, but she does not have the quote towards to be a municipal attorney, and I would like to hear from the municipal attorney. Thank you.
So, before I bring Chubb in, we can do this without talking about the qualification of individuals, especially that are well decorated in the city. And so, if you want to turn Chubb to clarify something for you, that's fine. There doesn't have to be an attack on anybody's part. You can do that.
Well, I would like to hear from Attorney Chubb.
Sure.
Only.
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman. As I was saying, I'm very confident that if we use the standard procurement process of the city, we can come up with a forensic auditor that will meet the standards of the council while also adequately protecting the city. And that's where, when we talk about the adequate protection of the city, we need to go back to what was requested by Montevideo that all of us should find wholly inappropriate. And what that is that although our standard terms usually require our vendors to indemnify the city if they were to get sued, just like the NDOT projects that were approved tonight. So in that situation, for example, if they are to engage in negligent actions, and so the road, Pike Street, when they ground it down, all failed in some way and resulted in someone suing the
the city because it's a city street. Under our standard contracts, the state would be required to indemnify the city, which means step into its shoes and pay any damages that are alleged against it because of that fault. That's only fair, right? Because they did the faulty work. What is being asked by Monadillo is even if they did work that was alleged to be faulty or negligent, we would still have to hire their attorneys and indemnify them as the city, even though it was an allegation that they did faulty work. That's simply not fair for the city, and I'm, again, confident we can find a quality forensic auditor that would agree to our standard terms and not make us provide such ridiculous coverage on the backs of our citizens.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, Attorney Sharp. You're muted. Wait, come on.
You have me muted. I just want to say, I'm not even going to keep going back and forth entertaining that craziness, but I'm just going to say that at the end of the day, council and the public can go online, look at the contracts that are there. You will not see any language that resembles at all what they're asking for from Pontiac in any of the contracts, let alone Plant Moran. That language is not there. So you find a contract where you have similar language, and please present it, because I'd love to see it, because it doesn't exist. Thank you. Hello?
Go ahead, Councilwoman Miller.
Yeah, because I thought everything was blank. Now, it's my turn to speak, and I speak for me. And, take it any way you like. You know, I have had with Councilperson Peeler calling out people's names and saying who unqualified. You know, it's like you're working on the wrong side. What was you doing in administration? I'm tired of bull crap. It looks racial. I'm gonna put it out there. You got problems with black women talking on the field. And it's put out there. I'm done with Mr. President. That's all I want to say. I see.
Okay, we're on item number 10 now. Is there a motion to approve?
No.
Is there a motion to approve this? Motion to approve this census money.
Census money?
Yes, item number 10. $90,000 from the census.
Yes, move.
Support. other grant money is being utilized?
Madam Mayor? You gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, okay, I was waiting for you to, yeah. All right, the retirement, as the money has been spent, yes, the money will be spent, is being spent and has been spent. As you recall, the census, which is almost over. We have been working at this for a year and a half with the census committee, the Pontiac committee on, city, state, federal, and every other level to get the census done. We are happy with the fact that we've been able to vastly improve the enumeration results from over what was done in 2010, which was very important to bring the compliance up in Pontiac. So that means a lot of money doesn't get left on the table for the city. We'd like to improve it more, but as you, some of you may or may not know, the original deadline of October 31st was cut back till tomorrow, but this is now being challenged in the federal court and maybe going to Court of Appeals. So we're on a day by day to see if it's going to be extended back to October 31st, but we're using every day we can. Right now, we're going on the door-to-door mission to go back and to get a lot of people who have not been compliant to please fill out their census forms. So that is ongoing. And the money has been spent for all the activities and the outreach events and the printing and the yard signs and all the myriad of activities we've had in order to increase the census participation in the city of Pontiac.
Thank you. Anybody else got any questions? Councilwoman Stransky?
No.
Okay. All right, without any other discussion, roll call?
Was there a motion?
Yes, there was a motion. And a second.
Mr. Clerk says he can't unmute himself.
That could be a problem. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. Carter?
Yes.
Miller?
Okay, Donald, can you hear me now?
Yes.
No.
Ela?
If I don't offend anybody by speaking, because the majority is black, yes.
Ramsey?
Yes.
Heather Parks?
Go on, you can say.
Heather Parks? Heather Parks, you?
You got to unmute yourself, yes.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Waterman?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
Okay, which brings us to item number 11.
Actually, Mr. President, under item 9, we had a move and support. Remember, they need to actually, I guess, withdraw. I know there was discussion, but you had already had moved and support.
Yeah, because it's getting a right fund and all that other stuff needs to happen. So yes, who made the move in the sport?
I made the move and I will not withdraw it.
I made the move, the support was from Taylor Burks.
Taylor Burks, we need you to withdraw the support. for?
We're on now, Mr. President.
We are on item number 11.
Okay.
We have to go back to item number 9, because two people made the motion. One of them was now removed, and so there's a motion on the floor to vote on item number 9, without all the information. Is there a second to that motion? Okay. Mr. Clerk, if there is no second to the motion fails, is that correct?
Right, you had been, right?
Okay, all right, now we're back to item number 11. Item number 11 is a resolution to approve zoning map amendment request ZMA 2005 for parcel 641416164511012 to amend the current zoning R1 family dwelling to R3 multiple family dwelling zoning district. Who's presenting from administration? Is it Mr. Gutcherson?
Okay, thank you. With this project, last week we didn't have a really opportunity to present. I would like,
Mr. Gustafson, I just got unmuted. I was trying to introduce the subject, so I just got unmuted. That's a little technicality. Let me do that. This was presented last week, and this is about the zoning map amendment, for, the Barron School. We're doing a project here, and, Mr. Vern Gustafson will present that.
It wasn't presented this week.
It
It's
wasn't
gonna be presented this week, so I'm trying to introduce it. Thank you. Mr. Gustafson.
Thanks.
yeah, thank you. And also, we do have representatives from Safe Place Communities are here also, that I would like for, to also learn their, part of the presentation, as part of, share. Let me just share, through, Council President, I'm going to share my screen here. So as you remember, we had just a brief little bit of a conversation as we talked about this parcel, which is at 1033 West Bark Hill Street. It is the applicant is Mark Redhead of the Safe Place of Pontiac for communities, and we're looking to go from R1, one family, to proposed R3. The purpose in regards to this whole project is to renovate and repurpose the LeBaron School for family housing, also providing training, vocational rehabilitation, and also outdoor recreation for not just the residents of there, but for the community at large. And we also thought it was important that Safe Place Community really gives you an idea in regards to all of the impacts and all of the opportunities are from a development like this that they have to offer. And I would ask that Mark, if you'd like to join us and give me a brief presentation in regards to your project over at LeBaron School. Through Council President, is he muted?
I'm trying to find him, I don't see him tomorrow.
Well, let's just keep it moving here.
Hi, how you doing?
There he is.
Hi, my name is Mark Craighead. Me and my representative, Erica, Bowden, are on the phone. Erica has a plan that she wants to go with. Erica?
Council President, I believe that she's, Erica, with Safe Place Community is muted.
Yeah, I asked him to unmute yourselves, but.
I got it now. Thank you. I received it. So yes, hi, thank you, for hearing us we're going to be doing a multi-family, we're looking to rezone, LeBaron. We are going to completely transform this place that's been vacant for over 10 years into a multi-family, apartment complex, landscape the grounds beautifully, and also provide a portion of our apartments to our veterans that are returning home without any housing or jobs lined up, and we're giving them a job right on site with our urban farm that we're going to have, where residents, not only veterans but others in Pontiac, will be able to apply for the jobs at our farms as well, and the hourly starts at $15 an hour. Some other job training that we're going to have on site as well is going to up 9 months, and they will have training in areas that will provide jobs starting at $45,000 after. What we're doing that's really unique with the property, there aren't a lot of multi-income type of properties here in Michigan, but it's something that's been very successful in lots of other states across the United States, including some of the wealthiest areas of the U.S. Because this has been a tool to make sure that we are actually bringing people along in building their lives up in a way that does not disenfranchise them and continue to keep people separated based on their socioeconomic status, but to actually have a solution and say, by the time that you're done, in 2 years, you're already making $15 an hour, which consecutively moves up to 16 and then 17 to $50 an hour is just during training. So we're really moving people into a place where they can securely stand on their feet and stay standing on their feet. And doing that in a way that also is in a lovely apartment complex that has full rent paying residents. So again, we're not continually just separating people, but really providing the type of quality that that we know people need to have and want to have when they're working in Pontiac and choosing to live somewhere else. So we're really building something that's competitive with surrounding communities, with surrounding cities, so that people are choosing to live at a property like ours here in the city. And we have this full list of amenities and services that we'll be offering again with the gym and recreation that's on site. We'll be opening that up to the community at large as well. They'll be able to use the facilities that we have, including our gardens, gym facilities, our resource library that we have inside, different things that are really going to be a positive asset for the community. In the same way that you go to like the YMCA and have a private membership there, we'll be doing that and also offering scholarships for those the same way YMCA does for those that cannot afford to have a membership to the amenities that we have on site. So this is just the conceptual drawing for the property or 3D rendering of the property. So we're really doing some things that are going to be attractive to young professionals and to millennials and the generations thereafter as well, and making sure that this is competitive with what the current housing trends are, and also making sure it's competitive with the types of things that these young professionals are looking for and the type of communities that they're looking to live in. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions. That was just a brief overview of the many things that we have planned for the site.
I'll be also happy to answer any questions that the city council has in regards to the planning and zoning perspective. This sketch kind of illustrates the site context. The second red represents the LeBaron School. This avenue running north and south is Joslin. You have First, Markel, and Beverly, surrounded by single-family homes. Over here you have just the northeast corner of the GM facility that's located along Joslin. Here, imaging of what's currently there right now, and also from the images, you can see the significant transformation of an opportunity of what the LeBaron School or the former school could become, not just as a negative impact, but a very positive impact in regards to this community and the area in general. Here is no site plan. It did meet all the criteria as relates to what we typically look at from your planning department's perspective in regards to the criteria. We here in the department and also with regards to the commission did asked for the city council to consider approving this zoning map amendment.
Okay. I'm afraid to keep going. This is Councilwoman Taylor Burke's district, so I'm going to start with her. She's got a question.
Mr. President, I have no questions, and I am going to ask to call for the vote.
Okay. Is there a motion? We can call for the vote until there's a motion. Is there a motion to vote on this item?
I move to vote on the item tonight.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
President,
Yes, go ahead, Pro Tem.
we have my residents over there also, and I just wanted to let you know, contact with them now. My residents provided text, email, and physical contact with me. They've written and set up my doc, and they are protesting or no, and I have to agree with my vote.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they do have a valid protest petition.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Somebody's asking me to unmute them. Okay, sorry about that, Councilman. Is there any other discussion? Everybody should be unmuted at this point.
My hand is up.
Go ahead, Councilman.
The school was closed in 2009. Erica stated it very well. It's been closed for 10 years. I understand that residents don't want the housing over there. However, I also understand this is a unique housing environment that we have never had before, and it would be very beneficial to both our seniors who have given to us with their service. And yes, I'm going to decide, but I'm still going to vote yes, because I do believe this is a very positive thing.
I was sneezing
I
there.
guess being that I'm being spied on while I'm speaking, Mr. President, I have said everything I have to say.
Excuse me, Councilwoman Miller. Councilwoman Sugar actually said she was sneezing, so I just wanted to put that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I've said everything I was spied on, that I do here. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any discussion?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman. Go ahead, Councilwoman, you have the floor.
Still muted.
Yeah. Councilwoman Waterman, you have to unmute yourself. That's not okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so everybody has been unmuted. So I just have one question for the sake of less people. What's the percentage of veterans
And so fortunately, we do have an architect that has experience already transforming schools into apartments. So that's gonna actually be a part of our master planning process. Traditionally, the mixed ratio though is 80% full rent paying residents and 20% of, the subsidized units. So it's something that will accept, just like any other rent, any other apartment complex, you expect to have people coming in, for a regular apartment complex, and they go through the regular process of, credit check, background check, their security deposit, all those things, everything you would expect at a regular apartment complex. The beauty of a mixed income, which again, like I said, has been found all over the US, is that you stop segregating, people and saying that there needs to be poor people over here and then middle class can be over here. And it really allows, people to have a place where they can get on their feet that, is actually realistic, because it's mixed in with a real community, and mixed in with, real surroundings that people are living in, just like any other, neighborhood.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
I just heard what she says is they haven't purchased the property because, they're trying to see if we're going to vote either way on this. What I wanna know, what is their financials? And where have they done this before?
So this will be the first mixed income, project. This, type of development is not something, that has been, it's relatively new to Michigan. It's, something that's kind of been, decades other places, so they're really advanced with this. What we're doing, what we are is actually privately funded. I think that's what you're asking when you're asking about financials. Are we asking, for any type of money from the city or?
No, I'm not asking for money from the city. I wanna know what your finance, where your money's coming from.
It's a private investment group.
Okay, any other question? Mr. Council?
Mr. President, can we call for, I'm calling for the vote.
Okay, the vote has been called for. Mr. Clerk? Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Muted.
You gotta unmute yourself, Ms. Lewis. There you go.
Miller,
She's gotta unmute herself. Everybody keeps muting.
Okay, can you hear me now, Rose?
yes.
Okay, no.
Nicola,
Yes.
Ramsky,
No.
Taylor Burks,
No.
Waterman,
No,
Williams,
No.
Carter,
No.
one yay, 6 nays.
Mr. President, point of order, please. Clarification, sir, on the attachments for A and B, they aren't legible, and what I can see is, tremendous error in the address. It needs some clarity. This should be a photocopy of what the original looks like. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Item number 12 is a follow-up report from the real estate subcommittee meeting. Followed pursuant to September. Please state your comment.
Mr. President,
Yes.
this is what we spoke about last week. I'm not accepting that.
Okay. All right.
Number 12, Council President, is actually a report that was asked for. The council did ask administration to go out and to further explore some of the opportunities.
That states.
We have done that, and we have additional information, and Mr. Gibb is prepared to give you the information that has been waiting since then, if you are ready.
Okay, I'm gonna just go on that to next week, it's 7:42, and we have to allow everybody to, public comments, and the debate comes on at 8 o'clock, and so,
Right.
so I won't be here, so I'll make sure we get through that, and if you can bring the presentation back, on next, Tuesday, that would be great, so. Shall we move on to public comment, and Mr. Joy?
The first comment is from Kenny Anderson. Raising the question, is it mandatory when citizens enter City Hall that they have to be screened for COVID-19? Today I was at City Hall and I had to sign a form, my temperature was taken, and I had to answer a few questions. Is this screening a mandated mandatory city health? Was it approved by the city council? If so, what was the date of approval? Is the lady taking the temperature a health professional? Who's paying her to do the screening? Is she being paid from COVID-19 funds that the mayor received? How much COVID-19 funding did the mayor receive? Is there oversight for the fund's accountability? Yes, I'm all for anything that's making residents safer during this pandemic. However, I need these questions answered because I've gone into Oakland County offices and only wearing a mask was required. Is this COVID-19 screening genuine or driven by a self-serving political agenda? The next one is from Farland Rural. The city is collecting taxes from employees at the mortgage company at South Boulevard, and construction is almost completed for Amazon. So I wonder why money is not being put back into the city. And next one is from Larry Jasper. Dear people of Pontiac, we have a unique opportunity and the ability to make a real difference for the city of Pontiac in the USA. However, following the mayor or Matt Gibbs' leadership will not be in your favor. They do not intend on providing high-paying jobs in the repair of the Phoenix facility or the purchase of the Howard Towers, nor will they provide a training in childcare. Additionally, they will not make you an equity owner of the real estate development. In fact, they will give it away to a third party that has not filed a request for proposal, which must be done in order for the mayor and for the council to accept any proposal or partnership with the city. Furthermore, the mayor and Matt Gibb have tried to scare you on Omega's proposal by misrepresenting mixed-use development and what it provides for the people of Pontiac. Also, they have made sure you cannot read the comparison as it is in a 4-point. Bullies do these types of things. Your council are working to help the people of Pontiac. The mayor will tell you she did have the authority under the settlement agreement in the attorney-client privilege confidentiality, but it is simply not true. This simply is a way of hiding the third-party identity and hiding the actions of the executive branch. Ironically, the attorney you saw last week was representing Rubicon LLC, the developer who is doing the Glenwood property. However, it is a small entity working with a bigger entity in New York. They use LLC and have an umbrella LLC and a private equity fund to hide the investors in their actions. This is legal for private companies, but it is not legal for public companies or government entities like the city of Pontiac. The newly filed LLC for UDM, the other LLC that is doing the remodeling of the Care Circle, hides the sellers and the owners. Someone is making a bunch of money that is not you, the people of Pontiac. Are you getting additional services for lower priced products or tax? Why is this important? Well, there is a lot of money not being put in the general ledger of the city of Pontiac. Making your taxes go up and limiting the services provided you that you earn by your tax dollars. The mayor agreed to not tax local park for 32 years, already having a 425 agreement, costing the city approximately $2 million a year for the next 32, totaling cost of $64 million. They have done projects anyway. The train title of Pier Circle for $1 costs the city approximately $25 million in back taxes. Phoenix facility shall cost you between $24 million to $54 million. That's amazing. Forces with the council for Pontiac to make it right through a partnership. Then the city loses nothing, he gains everything. But most important, you the people get a cut of the action from stocks and dividend payments every 3 months. This way, you are made a part of the deal and you have earned it because it is the money that invested in the partnership, not compared to third parties. But to do that, you must stand up for and support your council members. Make us lead by example. We want to introduce our slogan, little cities where Americans' dreams are reborn. The Phoenix facility sits in the center of the opportunity zone, shall allow you to use the city gains to fund the Park Place Little City development. Hire Pontiac local workforce. If you did not know, the president just signed an executive order called the Black Plan to supply Black communities with $500 million to help fund minority businesses, education, provide opportunities in inner cities like Pontiac, Washington, Idaho. And the PowerPoint was shared with the Economic Development Department of the USA Today's prototype will be built in Pontiac and duplicated throughout the country. Anyone that joins our workforce has a real opportunity for promotion, technology, training, and management, and it shall be with the East Coast headquarters. So make us leading by example. God bless all Americans. The next one is from Billy Swayzer. Dear City Council and citizens of Pontiac, I am Billy Swayzer. I live at March Bank Drive in Pontiac. Every election, I can't wait for my ballot to vote for the Democrats ballot. I heard on the TV that ballots were going out Thursday, September 17th, so I'm waiting impatiently for my ballot. My daughter who lives in Rochester Hills got her ballot yesterday. I went to the mailbox and my ballot wasn't there. I called and spoke to Mary in the city clerk's office. She checked my name and said it will be about 2 weeks before my ballot will be mailed out. So I told her I'm coming tomorrow to pick up my ballot. I want everybody in Pontiac, Michigan, in the United States, and the properties that can vote to vote. I contact my neighbors, my friends, and bother all my family. I take voting very seriously because our lives do depend on it. Every vote counts. Our vote made the difference between the city of Pontiac had marijuana to sell or not. Mr. City Clerk, will you please explain the process that is going on? I will pick up my ballot and bring it back to City Hall. I'm encouraging everyone I know to come to City Hall and vote absentee and turn in their ballot. I've been trying for months to get my brother's grandchild registered to vote, as she is now 18. She says she's busy. We will see. Pontiac, watch for your ballot, get your ballot, vote, turn it right back in, bring it to City Hall and get counted. That is the end of public comment.
That brings us to closing comments. Madam Mayor?
Yes. Yes, we'll keep this short. There's a couple of good announcements I want to do though. We do have some screen sharing here. Many of you know that Amazon has completed the first building and they are now hiring. And on the screen there, and you will see the link and the phone number you can call, find out about these jobs. They are the phone number for the job pipeline we have opened up in Pontiac, 248-758-3JOB. Well, you can go to the Amazon website, so www.amazon.jobs, and then the link is actually on our job pipeline page. And you can actually see a listing of the kinds of jobs they have there. So not only supervisory jobs, also other jobs. Starting salary for most of these are like $15 an hour. You can see this is the first building. This is known as the distribution station. The other building is the fulfillment center. They're hiring more jobs for that. We were expecting when Amazon came to town, we would have a minimum of 2,200 jobs. Next slide, goes with the, clerk, that I have for people in town, and Ken, if you're gonna change that slide. We have had a number of, uptick in violence, crime in the city, and as you know, there are a number who wanted to speak out in a greater way, and so I formed the Mayor's Advisory Coalition Against Violence. We're looking for people who would like to participate in that in a great way. We have a number of grassroots organizations, in addition to the Sheriff's Department, which has already made some second suggestions to be considered by that coalition to deal with the violent crime statistics in Pontiac. But we're also looking for the grassroots citizens, people who have the same kind of diligence and the same kind of interest in the safety and security of the community. We want to be part of a task force that will come up with real solutions, real recommendations, real essence of how we bring safety and security, to this community. And so once again, I'm going to put that number up here for those who want to volunteer to be part of this coalition. That's 248-758-3322. We'll be setting up the first meeting of that coalition in the next 2 weeks as we bring people together to deal with this in a community way that is most important consideration for the city of Pontiac. And I will end my comments there, President.
Thank you, Clerk Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I just wanted to, again, and I gave a presentation about the election, but and ballots were not, the first day that you could legally issue a ballot was last Thursday, September 24th. Some voters may have already received their ballot, like I mentioned earlier. We have mailed approximately 4,000 ballots. We still do have nearly 8,000 ballots to mail. We have received close to like 7,800, so close to 12,000 ballots. Requests for absentee ballots. But you can come to the clerk's office anytime between 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can vote in person. You can also track the status of your absentee ballot by going to michigan.gov/vote. You can put in your information. It will tell you when your ballot was mailed to you, if your ballot has been mailed to you. If your ballot has been mailed to you, we are asking that you at least wait 10 days before you come into the clerk's office. And our extended hours do begin next Monday. We will be open from 8:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday. We'll be open 8:30, 4:30 on Friday. Thank you, Mr. President.
Attorney Sherman?
I have nothing. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Miller. Okay, I'll come back to her. Councilwoman Walker. Okay, go ahead, Councilwoman Miller. Yeah, Councilwoman Walker.
No, I have no comments, Mr. President. None at all.
Councilwoman, Walker.
Nothing, sir.
Councilwoman Shrensky. Okay, I'll meet you soon.
There it goes. It wouldn't let me unmute. I have nothing.
Okay. Councilwoman Dorsey, Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank all of my colleagues for your support. God bless.
Councilwoman Peter.
Yes, Mr. President, I do have something I want to say. One of them is LeBaron School has been open since 2009. regarding the condition of Lemire from those residents on First and Martel, Beverly. So what I'm going to ask them, instead of calling me, please Google the council person for that district. Their name and their home phone will show up, and call them. Please don't call me anymore. I've tried to support a betterment of that community, and so we didn't have to deal with the school being broken into, fires at the school, the flooding at the school, the robberies. I'm just worn out, and I don't care to deal with this problem anymore, so I don't have to give that phone number out. They can Google the council person, and the phone number will show up. It's, on there, if you pull up a couple of sites, and it's actually number 8 on the site that says they have 7 of that name. It's just, and I think it's very ironic. People who really don't know you call you a racist. My family is biracial. My 2 children, my husband was black. There is nothing racial about me whatsoever. My best friends are black females. And, I was with 2 of them today, and we were laughing because we sort of had feelings that this council person that called me a racist again was going to come out and speak her untruths again, which it happened. And I appreciate her doing that, because now I will be talking to attorneys. Thank you, Mr. President. This all happened on this Facebook, and I just think that it's about time it comes out, because in January of 2018, I was called a racist at that time. So I think it's time we put this to rest. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, Pro Tem Carter. You gotta unmute yourself.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I made a comment, I put it in the chat, because we were blocked. We're doing resolution number 9 about the new financial candidate, and I wrote, I would like to go ahead and enter it into the record as my comment, so we'll keep it short tonight. It's non-feasible, and if there are any charges coming forward, then I would like to recognize against our city attorney and the law firm. We asked for an audit, and all that audit is done, and the audit isn't done as we had demanded. It's called done pieces, and I think we need, thank you very much, and good night.
It's 8 o'clock, watch the debate. We adjourn this meeting at 8 o'clock.